Hello everyone, it's TypeType again. It's yet another webinar about fonts, about not just fonts, and about typeface research. Tonight we will talk about typographic research, how we conduct all of this hidden process of understanding what fonts are there, what do we need to use, what do we not need to use. And a lot of similar things you might have heard or seen in marketing research and branding research, but it's about fonts only. My name is Sergey. I'm head of the project management office at TypeType. We work with clients directly and we work for creating brand fonts and voices of the brand. So there is one simple question: what unites most of the brands? Maybe it's theoretical questions, maybe it's practical question, but there is a natural desire to be among leaders. And by that we mean among leaders that have their own voice, that have their own typefaces and their own solutions that we see on the market everywhere. And actually they're brands that influence and change the market and change the habits of how design works and how designers think or look at their work. So, in as much as we love fonts, in as much as we want to say that branding identity is about fonts, it's not just fonts. As we know, it is a logo type, it is a brand color, it is a font. All of these work well together, and they have to work together, because if we pick just one of them, the brand is incomplete and the identity is incomplete as well. But we know that the audience often has just a couple of seconds for attention, so you need to capture your audience attention just for a couple of seconds. And you may use a lot of words on your communications, like let's say on the banner or your main screen of application, or if it's a billboard and a car is passing by, you have just a couple of seconds. You may use a lot of words, you may use a lot of images and deep meanings, but people will not see it, they just skip it. So what happens if we have to choose? So we need to choose either or we focus on the logo, then we don't conduct the message. We may focus on the color, and then we also don't conduct the message, but we can also focus on the message itself. If we remove the logo type, or let's say the color, without logo type we have just color and just font. If we remove color, we have just font and the message. So this is the most precise part of your message. If you again, let's talk about billboards. If you just put an image there and logo type, and the image may be perceived differently, because each and every one of people, we like to see it from the individual perspective. Like one image can be translated into different feelings and emotions. If we use font and the message, it's most precise. If you type sun, it means sun. Most likely it's hard to think about something else. So typography is the voice of your brand. It is maybe obvious, maybe not, but it's one of the most important part of your communications. And sometimes we at TypeType, and we together with clients all together, we think, how do I know what voice is out there on the market in my segment? Or what voice should my brand have? If I don't have my voice yet, or if I have my voice, then what should I enhance in my brand communications? Because when we are inside the brand, when within the team, we feel its native way, we understand that this brand works well, and we don't see it as the audience sees it, or as the market sees it, or as the competitor, your closest competitor might see it. And this is when we come to typeface research. It is our brand new service that we conduct for just a couple of years, and we are already experienced a lot of that. So we wanted to share with you the information about what we do, how we do it, and most importantly, what for. Why do we actually need typeface researchers? So this is the philosophical question, why? Most of all, to answer a precise question, before we proceed to any of the research we conduct at TypeType, we have at least one question from the client to whom we make this research. It's always personalized. So here are just a couple of the questions we have. There are many more. And the most popular one is how it's going on with competitors. Like what fonts, what solutions do our segment uses in general? Sometimes we get the obvious question like, what trends are out there? What's most popular today? And this highlights some insights, highlights some modern, up-to-date information. But sometimes there are leaders that are not sticking to the trend. So we can get a question like, what solutions do leaders use? Leaders means different to each and every brand. It's not just what audience thinks. Sometimes we think that this is the leader, it's not obvious, but they use something interesting. Or sometimes your brand may have a lot of products, a lot of different font solutions, and they may be not comprehensive. And you come to us and ask, like, can you evaluate our product fonts? Sometimes there is another question like how to expand the audience reach. We have rational audience. We want to attract emotional audience. Can we do that with fonts? So this is also one of the questions we may answer. And sometimes we have this question like, could you help us approve the budget? Because the team is already aware that we need fonts, our brand needs new fonts, but we need to prove to top managers that we need it, and that's exactly why. And we show like hundreds of pages of research based on your criteria. So we evaluate trending solutions. We don't always say what's right or wrong. We just say, we try to be as impartial as we can. Like, this is the trend, like white fonts or compressed, condensed fonts are trending today. So this is information you need to use as you wish. We have a lot of segments actually that we already did, a lot of researchers. The finance and banks being the top segment, we had like over 10 researchers past year. We have a lot of insight about how financial and banking brands use their fonts and what should they use and should they not use. We analyzed beverages, fashion, insurance, even heavy industries, and realty, real estate, marketplaces, news platforms, and a lot of more. Sometimes this is also done to resolve typeface conflict. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but this is about self-positioning and is this true what we think about brand. So how we do that? This is quite easy actually. We define the key criteria for the analysis, and this is done, can be done, and is done in different ways. In most cases we get the criteria from the client. For example, we are modern, we are premium brand, let's analyze the market from premium prism. Sometimes we just we just suggest like this, we think you're a premium brand, so let's use the premium prism. But in most cases, if not all, actually we use all of these approaches. We get the criteria from the clients and we offer our vision as well. And then we start to rethink and processing it, because this is one of the most tricky parts. We ask questions, what means modern? Because, you know, modern could be a very display font. You may be a very modern and bright with a colorful communications and you think it's modern. Or you may be a modern IT brand. You may be very minimalistic. You may be very clean and sharp. And both of these will be modern. So we have to dive deep into your understanding of the word, first of all. The same goes for premium. It could be different. Recently, we discovered that, for example, in the dairy, in milk industry, premium is not always about elegant serifs. It could be about soft and very friendly visuals, but very friendly font. This was a surprise for us. And then, again, what means friendly? What means just nice? Or what means I don't know, because we actually get this, we ask the brand, like, how do you understand your brand? And they suggest, I don't know. This is also an answer. It is an answer for us. So we bring it and we try to explain how we see it, being an impartial third party. So we dive deep into your brand worldview. Each and every brand has their own vision of how the world works, of how the brands communicate, and how they themselves should communicate with the external world and with the audience, not only target audience, but just on the broad market as well. And now let's talk about tools and methods we use. First of all, and most common one is market analysis, online and offline. In online case, we just analyze your presence. For example, if you talk about websites and applications, we just go to analyze what fonts and what solutions your segment uses. and then we provide a lot of charts and graphics and visuals and tables and word conclusions. And then we try to compare the same element. For example, let's say we analyze the main page of the website. So we have a lot of screenshots, images of all the brands in your segment, especially the main competitors of yours. And then we compare one same element on each segment. Like, for example, the header image. If this is a page on the marketplace website, we use the card of the item, like the price tag, the name of the item, the small text information, all of the same assets. We try to compare one to one, so it's easy to understand. Not just one page comparing to another page. If you talk about offline communications or, let's say, packaging, we go to the store worldwide, not only in one precise country of your presence, and we try to look at the shelf. And for example, when we have the beverage analysis, we had our colleagues in several countries to just stand in front of a shelf and stare at it. It could look different from perspective from the cashier, for example, or other visitors, but we were analyzing, just stand there and analyze deeply with a very smart face. And then we compare all the solutions with images, screenshots, again, with the photographs, and we summarize like what is visible, what is not visible, and why. Let's use an example, a simplified example. We have an application. We have your current application, which uses Inter in black. The headers are very noticeable, and you want to see what other competitors in their apps use, just to understand, is your solution right, or you feel you need to refresh, but you don't know what direction you should move. So there is your closest competitors, which uses Roboto Bold. Again, it's bold, and it's free. Both of typefaces are free. So then you expand your search. You see that there is the third one that uses system fonts on iOS. For example, it's San Francisco Pro. And it's not bold, it's regular, it's something different already. So we have already some statistics in here. But of course, we have a lot of brands, not 6. It could be 10, 20, 50, and even more. So the more brands we have, the better statistics is. So then you see that one of all of the brands you've analyzed uses serif, play for display. It is also free, but it is not often. You can see it in the applications. It is not interface font, it is display font. It should be used in a large size on the big billboard, not in app. It's an unusual solution. Is it better or not? We don't highlight it because we are impartial once again. And then there is a competitor which uses TT Interfaces Pro, fantastic font from fantastic studio, TypeType, for example. They also use it as bold, so it's common to Roboto and to interfaces. And to Inter. And then we have one competitor which uses a brand font in medium weight, medium style. So you have these statistics, and then you go to conclusions and see that, for example, the first the free fonts, you don't want to use them. You want to pay attention on serifs and to commercial fonts, premium fonts, as we say. And in such model, we see that half of the market uses free fonts, and just one of them uses system font, which can also be considered as a free sometimes. And one brand uses commercial font, one brand uses their own private font. In percentage, it looks much better than just numbers. So when we have a lot of brands, this statistic is very precise. Let's talk about another example. We have a basic t-shirt, and this is the card on your marketplace page. So you have name of the item, you have small line with size, and then you have price tag, which should be big and bold. And one brand uses TT chocolates in 3 styles, and you see the one font, one typeface, 3 fonts, three styles. Then there is another competitor who uses serif again in pair with one geometric font as well. Maybe this is a feature of your segment. But the price tag is used in serif, which is quite elegant and unusual. Once again, it attracts attention. Look at this euro sign. And then there is the third one, which uses display font, very playful, very handwritten, very display one. Let's look at the price tag again, or the item. So we have 2 fonts and 3 styles. And then all of this, again, we just show you, we just tell that these are the 3 directions that lead in your segment. 1 font, 3 styles, 2 fonts, 4 styles, 2 fonts, 3 styles. Nothing precise, nothing certain. We can't say that 90% uses just sans serif geometric one, so you should use it too. We show there is way, an option to pick your own idea and to broadcast your own idea. And this will be just proved and highlighted in hundreds of pages again. So you just have three options to compare and feel like which one reflects your idea, which one of them reflects your vision, what you want to look like. And this is one of the reasons we do the research. So we share the options. We don't tell that you have to pick one of them. We just tell you that there are ways to do it. Or maybe you don't like any of them, and this is also an answer, that neither of them suits you well. So then we go to positioning and self-esteem review. We analyze your brand books and your competitors' brand books. How do you look like? What are the expectations? Maybe you expect that you look like that. Very fancy, very elegant. But then there comes the reality. It is also cute, maybe, but it's not as you expect you to see. So we get the adjectives from you, from your team, who you are. How do you evaluate yourself? And then we provide font characteristics. Like if you are friendly, these are the characteristics for a friendly font. Then we go to reality, the font you are using, and then we make a conclusion. Are your current fonts match how you see yourself? So this is also cute. I cannot just not to stop at this image. This very nice dog, even though I'm a cat person. So we match your expectations and reality. In most cases, they do match actually, but sometimes we find that typographic conflict I was talking about earlier. For example, your brand is modern, tech-savvy, dynamic. This is how you see yourself. This is how you feel. This is how you move. And then you have a very elegant serif font, which is historical, classic, and static. So you see, this is a conflict. Your image, your perception of the audience that they use that serif fonts are historic and static, and they don't match with how you feel yourself. So this is your very best and the very much most modern machine learning database. Believe me, this should be, believe me, in the end. But this looks not as you may think it looks like. It actually brings you back to the Roman Empire because this is the very old and ancient style of the font, and audience expects you to be this classic, not modern. And then this is how you should look like. So if you are modern, tech-savvy, and dynamic, your font should be also modern, tech-savvy, and dynamic. You need to match your self-positioning. And then, again, your communications will be different. You pick the very modern and the very much most modern machine learning database looks like very modern one. So all of this will match how you want to look like and bring you to the place on the market you want to be, or even further. Brand identity, as we already mentioned, is not just about fonts, sadly or not. It is sometimes, we have this in practice as well. We have clients and partners come to us and say, like, we have Eco Milk, we have premium Eco Milk, and we used all of your premium fonts. Neither of them work. And we try to see the options as well. So this is font number 1, this is a font number 2, this is a font number 3. All of them match what the audience, the market expect from the premium Eco Milk font. But the problem is not the font, this is the image. This image is not premium, even though it might look sleek, but it's not premium. Let's change it to something, again, socially acceptable. This is the premium image of the milk, and all of the same font work much better. And this matches expectations and reality. In the real cases, we sometimes have much difficult situations when the images are very different from self-positioning. And designers and teams focus on the fonts because fonts don't bring the message they want to, even though they use the same fonts in other premium products, for example. So the identity is not about the font and not just fonts. Sometimes we need to look at different assets, at logotype, at color, and at the image you use on your product. If we look at the same fonts, once again, without any image, just a plain background color, all of them, again, work very sleek and elegant as premium fonts. Then we go to historical research. Sometimes, not always, sometimes it is important to understand that what was the development of the brand ideas. And of course, we prefer to pick the font-based logotypes, like let's say Ford or Heineken or Coca-Cola or Pepsi, for example. And we see how they changed, what historically preserved and what is historically changed. And we also bring it as an argument, as a reasoning of how to change your brand if traditions, if your brand is very old and traditions are very important, how to keep them, how to bring new modern feel but keep the tradition. Without historical research, we cannot do that. We may tell you, like, yeah, use this font and it will be very, very much classic but modern. It will be, but it lacks reasoning, it lacks proof. So we go back to history and prove it. And sometimes when it is not enough, we go to focus groups. This is very funny because we try to question people not only from the design world, but also from the outside world. So we bring together font designers, font users, and people who are not interested in fonts at all. And we ask questions like, how do you see, how do you feel, how do you perceive this font solution? We provide a lot of different images and different texts. And usually the answers are very different. People from design world answer one way. Font designers, typeface designers, they answer the other way. And it looks approximately like that. It is almost never the same answer, but to understand it, to feel it, we need to ask all of them. And the least often used one is analytics of analytics. That's how I call it. When we have to operate with some other researchers that already conducted just to strengthen our position. So we have like 5 hour chapters of the research, and one of them will be also analytics of the analytics. So you have not only our opinion, but the general, the very trustworthy companies who also confirm or even deny our solutions. Usually it is confirmed, not single case when we got this denied. So the question is, what for? At the end of the day, why do we do this? And why do we need to do this? To answer the initial questions, we have had the list of the questions in the beginning of this presentation. And obviously the most important part is to answer this question. Usually we match what we expect, but sometimes even we at TypeType, we have very unexpected results, some surprises to us, and we provide results as is. Maybe 50-50, 50% of your competitors use sans serifs and 50 use serifs. Maybe it is just 9 out of 10 use serifs, and if you want to stand out, you need to use sans serifs. And the answer could be very different, and sometimes it can just, as we mentioned, prove your budget that yeah, you need it because 9 out of 10 brands have their own fonts and you're the only one who uses free fonts, and you just get blurred. You just don't stand out. People don't see it. And we also have a much deeper understanding of what matters for you. And we didn't start with this. We started to add this part with experience, with practice, because sometimes we make a big presentation about the results, and we provide list of the criteria of adjectives, for example, how do you feel yourself? And the brands just cannot answer that. They tell us like, we don't know, we never thought about it. And then we provide the list just as an example. There are much more adjectives, many more adjectives, and at this point you may feel that yeah, we are actually agile, we are sporty, we are strong and dynamic, but yeah, we felt that, we understood that, but we never told it out loud. And this research could help you understand. For example, if these criteria are emotional ones and not rational ones, and your font is very classic, strict and rational, this is when you have a conflict of your communication. And then with the same model, you understand that you are definitely not boring. You're not closed, you're not heavy, you're not neutral, you're not hard soft, so which means you're not controversial. This is actually the real answer, hard soft. We got this from one of the focus groups. And with that, you have your must-have characteristics and criteria, and the criteria you should avoid. And then you go back to your current existing communications and you try to analyze again, like, are we really sporty? Or maybe this banner is very neutral and normal. It's not how we look like, and we didn't think about it earlier. So this research can also highlight it. It is not the main goal of it, but it's very nice to have and nice to see at the end. And then we also help you define your font strategy, like what to move to, where to move to, who to become if you have this question unanswered yet. With this, for example, let's look at our Titinoris font. This line is the general Titinoris font. You understand that, yeah, it is your current font. You want to stay in the same category. It's a neo-grotesque sans serif. You want to keep it, but you want to change something. Maybe you need to be softer. You're not soft enough now. You should be friendlier. So you add this tiny detail to D, to U, to L, and all your communication becomes much softer. Or maybe you need to you have this kind of A, one story A in your logo type, and you want to have it in your font as well to be, again, consistent and integral. So you change this. It's still the same font, but it is already different. Or you may go full soft to this. You may feel like all of these are actually stylistic set. They are already included in Titinoris. It's just as an example. If it is not included in the font you use, you may add it with customization. So this is an example how you may look different. All of them the same font, but very different vibe. This is how you may even manipulate and control your audience reaction. How do they perceive your product, your communications? It's just a little bit scaled up. Do you want to be like this or like this? Or maybe you want to be very soft again. We also test font in native visual environments. When we have these 70 pages of analysis of images, of screenshots, of charts, tables, and all of this boring information, we go to the language your brand understands. It's how the suggested font, suggested solutions will work in your native environment. For example, we know that you want to be modern. We offer you like 3 to 5 to 10 options of modern and very techy fonts that you may use, and it's not enough. You just go, okay, I need to use geometric serif, so what else? And then we show like your application. If you have your mockups, it's an amazing situation, and you just look at it and see that how it will work in a natural environment. Like for example, this is a page on iOS about cafe, and we just suggest that you need to use these playful fonts for it. It still attracts attention, it matches your reality, and for text and interface fonts, we need to use something neutral. And then we show it, again, the brief example, but we show it as more precise as possible. We use different pages, we use different environments, different mockups, so you may understand and feel it. And if none of this matches, it is also the answer again. Usually one of them match. And at the end, we have just 3 key font solutions after any of the research. We have highlighted some trends, maybe some most popular and least popular solutions. And number 1 of the ways you may use is to follow the trends and to be, for example, your brand is just new. You're not very well familiar. You want to stand out from all other new brands. And you see that the leaders, the market uses these solutions, like solution A, for example, and you want to follow this trend. So you are one of the popular group of brands, then you will be noticed. Or, for example, you are a very big brand, or you're a new brand, but you're very rebellious and you don't want to stand out. That way, you stand out being not trendy. If there is a trend for italics, for example, all of the brands use italics in your segment. And you said, no, I'm not like that. I will use just uprights, and maybe even all of them use sans serifs. I will use serifs. This is one of the solutions you may see after the research. Or you may set up your own trends. Why do I tell trends as friends? That's interesting. But this is one of the interesting solutions, because you may combine something, especially when situation is 50-50. You understand that half of the market uses option 1, half of the market uses option 2, and then you just combine them or make the third option, which is not common. And then this is quite kind of risky. If your brand is big, you may just become the new trendsetter. If your brand is not that big, you may go to be to risk to be quite, unusual, let's say like that. Or there is the 4 out of 3 options to mix all of these options, especially if you have your products, your different products, you're an umbrella big brand, and you have different like electronics, food, or something else. Each of the branches can use different options. So this is also one of the solutions you may have at the end of the research. And this is one of the most important part, is because you may rationalize your font solutions for the brand. It doesn't matter if these solutions were suggested by us, or maybe you already know what you want to be and what you want to look like, and you just need a proof from professionals. This research will rationalize your font solutions. So this means your choice of the brand voice is well grounded. Your choice of the brand voice is justified, not just because we think so. Not just because you think so, but because the objective reality and numbers and stats says otherwise. And your choice of word that the brand uses is expert driven. And finally, this is your very own choice of brand voice. This is what matters the most for us. So that's it from my main part. If you have any questions, comments, maybe ideas, please send it right to the Zoom chat. We'll answer all of the questions we get. I hope this information was very helpful, and I hope you understand how typeface research works. And if you need that, contact us, LinkedIn or through our website, if you have already contacted us, if we have had projects with you. So you just may contact your personal manager. We'll discuss the research, and maybe you have your own needs that I haven't highlighted in the questions to be answered with the research. Also let us know, and we'll be there to help, to assist, and we have resources for that, and we have a great desire to understand the market as well. So thank you again for listening, and let's jump to the questions. Yeah, I see my colleagues tell that we have questions, so just in a couple of moments, I'll be happy to answer them. And I will also highlight, while we get in the questions, that we have another sort of researches we do at the production department, and those are more scientific researches. I was talking about branding, identity, and commercial research, and sometimes we need to understand how fonts work from within the typographic niche. It's a very different topic. If you're interested, also let us know. We'll share how we perform the other type of question. So I have my first question. Thank you very much. Can we adjust the content, like what we need to explore, instead of a preset structure? Yeah, thank you very much for this question. As I just mentioned, we can make very personalized research for you. We have the preset, like let's check trends. It's very easy. But usually, in most cases, our clients and you have your own structure. Like we need to see, for example, recently we had a research that says in banking segment, the guys weren't interested in what fonts the competitors use. They were interested, are they display fonts in the segment? Because financial structure is very conservative and strict one. It's about money, it's about trust, and they needed their own structure of research. So they told, we need to hear about A, B, and C, and then we made a completely individual research for them. I hope I answered this question. We may go to the second one. Do you make these researches for brands directly or work with branding agencies? Actually, both. Sometimes we make our effort. We join big agencies that work with big clients. They have their own brand identity research, marketing research, and then they need a font research, typeface research as an addition to their big strategy. So we join the brands via agencies. But sometimes the brand comes to us directly. The in-house teams, they come to us and ask to help, to assist, or if they joined any of our webinars, for example, they come after webinars and tell that they're interested. So we can work directly with the brands as well. So if you don't have agency, you don't have to go via any agency, just contact us directly. Great, we have another question. Yeah, thank you. Customization sounds so interesting. How much can you change a font until it stops being the original and becomes something completely new? Yeah, thanks for this question. It is about 60 to 70% of change. It depends on, first of all, it depends on the original typeface we use from our collection. Some of them are very distinctive and they have to be changed much more. Some of them are very flexible and could be like the neutral sans serifs, for example. But it is 60 to 70% of the change. Yeah. Another question, that's amazing. How long does it usually take to conduct this type of research? And is there any price range for that? Yeah, that's a great question. I think I didn't cover it. It takes from 5-10 business days from the basic research. We actually have a tiers of research. We have a basic one when we just highlight the solutions with minimum recommendations, just like look at the trends. The big brands use this one. We have the standard research with recommendations, with expanded charts, with expanded mockups, and we have deep customization or deep research with a deep customization offer within it. It takes 20 business days and more, so it's kind of 5 to 10 the basic one, 10-15 the standard research. It takes about that time, and 20 plus for a deep research. And the price is always individual, so please contact us and we'll share because it also depends on different criteria. If we already worked with you, if we have grand plans, if we understand that this is very urgent for you, in some cases it can be very flexible, so we can negotiate about it. So please contact us and we will share the price range. If we have another question, yeah, thank you. Are there specific characteristics that are linked to adjectives when choosing typeface, or is it not often based on individual perception? Yeah, I think that's a great question. This always flexible because there is no such thing as a complete objectiveness. We all perceive things subjectively. So when we talk about adjectives about when choosing typeface, we need to ask more people, not only one brand strategist, for example, or one designer. As in the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned, like, we need to understand the criteria. For example, what is modern, what is the youthful, what is playful font, because it could be very different. So we first of all, we get the adjectives as you feel, as you share with us, and then we start to explain you how we understand it. So it's kind of dialogue. First of all, there is no specific characteristics at this point. So I hope I answered this question. It is always a summary of different individual perceptions. So we try to find the golden middle on this. How does TypeType evaluate cultural and linguistic specifics when developing fonts? Yeah, that's a great one. Thank you. We used to first of all, we are an international studio. We are experienced in global fonts, especially in Europe and North America, South America, the Latin-based fonts. And when we develop something new, for example, Armenian, Georgian, Arabic, or Vietnamese, we always consult native speakers. First of all, we do historical research with the designers, with the engineering, with our production team. We dive deeper in how those languages were originated, what cultures influenced it. So it is also deep research. And then we join. We ask some native speakers to join our team, and we get consulted all the time from the development. We make our first sketches, make first ideas and drafts, and then we ask native speakers to comment on this, to tell what is right, what is wrong. If we can join some famous designers that already developed those languages, and they know about culture as well, so we also consult them. So it's always about cultural exchange, scientific exchange, and it's about research. we try to look at the new font from within the country we plan to release it, or if it is Arabic, several countries use it. We try to understand each and every country understanding of the font. Another question is here: how does the company test new fonts across different media, web, prints, mobile apps? Yeah, if we test it, we try to do it together with the client. For example, if it is for web, as the first example, we have some test pages in Figma or maybe even in the real environment. They are usually provided by the client, so we just get the mock-up, the elements, like for example just buttons, components of it, and we put our fonts there and test it. But usually we just provide the new font to the client and test it together and get the feedback and adjust it. In print, we always, actually even before sending the font to the client, we print it at our studio, at our workspaces, and we see how it works in big size and small size, how ink works on the printed material. So it is, if we can test it on our side, we test it. If we need to get help from the client, so we send the font to the client and test it together and get a comprehensive feedback. Another question, what criteria does TypeType consider when creating fonts for branding? Well, it is always about self-positioning. Again, we roll back to the research presentation. I mentioned that we need to understand how do the brand feels about themselves. How do they understand what is important? For example, again, they are very strict and rational. They are IT banking application. So we need to understand this. They are IT banking application. So they should be very like geometrical, clean, sharp, and very modern. So this is the criteria we think, but we also get the criteria from the client, from the brand. If an agency is developing new branding identity, we always work together, ultimately together with each other, and we understand how agency sees the branding, and then after that we share, do we agree with this criteria or do we need to add something else to the list? So it's always mutual partnership and cooperation. Also, what if my company has many brands, this is the question, under the umbrella, and I want them all to follow the certain guidelines? Is there any kind of research for that? Yeah, I think we can conduct this research as well, because we need to understand your guidelines first, like what is the limits of this, and then we analyze your products under your umbrella. We analyze the systematic use of them. Are they mutually acceptive? Because, for example, sometimes your brand may conflict with each other. First of all, yeah, we get your guidelines. We analyze your brand solutions based on the guidelines. We find errors, and there usually are some errors, and we provide solutions for that. If you need us to analyze the guidelines from your competitors as well, not only your umbrella brand, and we need to see how your competitor umbrella brands follow or not following their guidelines, we also do that. But yeah, it is very doable. This is a research, which is called just research within one umbrella brand. We call it actually brand consulting under the typography asterisk. So we do this sort of great big consulting, which is not just research. It is also about identity. It is also about strategy. It is also about roadmap, how to do this. It's not just to give you answer what's right or wrong. It is also how to fix it and how to reach even greater extent. Yeah, one more question. Thank you. Do you have tailored font licensing solutions, presets? Yeah. There is a comment I will also read out loud. Preset selections on many foundries and the price it comes with is so often the reason clients seem to get scared and prefer using free fonts instead. That is actually one of the reasons we sometimes make a research. But to step a bit back, yeah, we have tailored font licensing solutions, and more than that, we usually prefer to give you tailored font licensing solutions because we understand that each and every brand has their own needs, their own limits, their own fears, and all of the fears are justified because sometimes you see the pricing without diving deep, you just like go to a foundry and see the pricing, and it's way too big. It's more than you expected, and yeah, of course, it demotivates you. In our case, you can always, and I would ask you to contact our managers, our company, to explain like what do you need, why you need, what limits do you have, and we will always get back to you with tailored font licensing solutions, because it is important for us to be part of your, first of all, to see our font somewhere else, plus one brand, plus many brands. It's always nice to see. And second of all, to be part of your strategy, part of your identity, and we are there to help. We are a very big foundry, and I think this is the time to mention that we are over 100 people in our team. For average font foundry, it is 7 to 15, max 20 people in the font foundry. So we are 5 times more than that. We have a lot of professionals that are out there. We reach back to you very quickly, and we are very friendly. I love this word. We are really friendly. So we try to help you to get our font. We are there. So yes, we have tailored font solutions. Yeah, this was the last question. Thank you very much. Thank you again for listening. I hope this was helpful. And please follow us and please check all our updates, because this is not the last webinar we have. We have something very interesting coming very soon. So stay tuned and let's see you again. Bye-bye.